have just made a gigantic amount of freezer meals that I wager are going to last us about 6 weeks. So I'm hoping that once I portion it all together, we're going to have at least 6 times 7 is 42 meals. I don't know. Let's wait and see. That's why we're here today. I'm going to show you how I portion my meals, how I organize my freezer, my fridge, everything, and how we make all this last for many, many weeks without me having to cook again for my family. So let me first show you what dishes we are organizing and arranging. The first thing I made are these delicious deep fried tilapia fish. Smells so good, you guys, and they're heavy, so let me put them aside. And then I made these red Thai curry chickpeas. Delicious. Here we have githeri, which is just corn or maize and beans and peas and potatoes and a lot of other fantastic vegetables. We love that. Here we have beans in peanut sauce. Can you say yum? So excited for this. And then here we have green grams. Those are some type of lentils. We call them dengu. Delicious. Please watch that video to see exactly how I made that. And then here we have beef stew. Yes, Kenyan beef stew. And lastly, we have lemon herb chicken there for grilling in the oven the day we're ready to eat it. That one is already portioned. So let's deal with all this. And then I show you my freezer, show you how this is gonna fit. I'm so glad you're here. So the first thing I need, obviously, when I'm making, when I'm organizing my freezer with my freezer meals, are containers or just a way to store the food. Actually, the first thing I need is the food, but that one I've already seen. So here are 3 things that I use. The first thing is freezer bags. I love these freezer bags. I love this mega pack. It has 60 bags inside. Very, very handy. And then another thing I love about it also is just how big these bags are. I'm curious to see whether my fish is going to fit inside, but otherwise I'm able to fit a good amount of food here for my family. It does have a contents and date option, so you don't forget what you put in there. But for me, I do not do that because I always make sure our freezer is completely empty within about 6 months before I start making other meals. That way I make sure I don't have things from last year. So that's what I'm going to use. Highly recommend. I'll link it down below if you're interested. Then I have the freezer meal fancy schmancy glass dishes like this. I love this design because it is also oven proof. So yeah, but I have a number of these. I worked really hard last year. I was hoping to have got all glass and get rid of the plastic ones, but then I got sidetracked by life. I also sometimes use these baking Pyrex dishes. Mine don't have covers. One day when I grow up, I'll buy those that have covers, but they also come in well, and I like their shape because it's nice. It's easier to organize them in the freezer. And then now we come to the plastic ones. Yes. You know, when you go somewhere and you see plastic dishes, they're like, oh, freezer safe and all that. They're really good. They are good. The containers are good, but for some reason, their covers keep cracking. I cannot explain to you why this happens. Okay, and you can see it literally has like a snowflake sign there showing that they're good for the freezer. So I don't know why they have, but okay, maybe just 1 or 2 have cracked. But anyway, they've also come in very handy. And then we have the OG. This is what I started with when I started making freezer meals. If you go to my first freezer meal video, you will faint. You'll be so shocked. But I only used to have recycled containers. Yeah, but incidentally, these are the only ones remaining. These are not even recycled. These are bought. But ice cream ones, I have 1, 2, 3, only 4. I'm so proud of myself. So anyway, and then also I like to have one particular serving spoon. I've done this enough times so I know that 7 scoops of this, of any stew, is enough for my family to have dinner and have enough left over for tomorrow. Okay, so I prefer to use just one type or one specific shape, or this one particularly, because we've been through a lot. We understand each other. There's an understanding between me and this ladle. Okay, so now let's portion the meals. So the first dish I want to start with is the beef. What we do when it comes to meat dishes in our house, we only have meat dishes like for dinner. Most of the times we will have our vegetarian dishes for lunch. So when I am serving, sorry, I need to wipe this a bit. When I am serving, portioning the meat dishes, These ones I don't do 7 scoops. Normally I do about 5 scoops, and normally that would be enough. So the smaller containers are normally for like meat dishes, and most meat dishes is mostly beef. When it comes to chicken, our kids eat quite a bit, but beef, they don't eat so much beef, so I portion a smaller amount. All right, so I'll start with that. So these are the smallest containers I have. I'm hoping to get like 5 portions, 5 or 6. If I can get 6, I'll be so happy. 2, 3. This is meat in bone. 4. So I make sure that every serving has like also some bones in it, so we don't get one day when we are all having beef and then the thing is just full of bones. 2, 3, 4. Oh my goodness, it smells so good, and the soup is so thick. That's 2, 3. And then I try to fill it as much as possible to avoid freezer burn, but you'll see in some of the bigger containers it's kind of hard to fill. 3, 4. Ooh. 5. Okay, now I'll definitely get 5 servings, but that's just 5 weeks. I need 6 servings. I hope it works. 1, 2, 3. This has too many bones. 4, and oh no, 5. Okay, only got 5 of this. That's okay. So I managed to get 5 portions of beef. The containers are pretty full, so that's good. That will be enough for us. So now I need to wash my serving spoon so I don't double dip into another dish, and then we get on to maybe the beans. I mean, yes. So most all the stews are in the containers. Tell me why I have so many containers left. I have no idea. I haven't counted how many meals I have. Like, I want us to do it together, but I'm really, really hoping that they're going to reach a good amount. So my fish seems to fit. Stay tuned until the end of the video because I'm going to show you how we preheat some of our meals, like the beef stew and the amazing, amazing milk bread that we're going to have with it. Delicious. You guys, my mic did the thing again. Oh my goodness. I'm so sorry. So basically what I was saying is that the fish is somewhat filling these bags, but the fins are remaining outside a bit. But the fish is quite big because I bought it at Gikomba. That's a market here in Nairobi. And they're quite big for the price. So, I mean, those are good problems to have. These are still really incredibly good bags. So this is a happy me. I'm just trying to read my lips here, saying how happy I am and counting the food. I think we ended up with like 34, 35 meals, which is quite shy of the 42 that I was hoping for. But I'm still super excited because on Sundays, normally we don't, we like to finish off whatever is left over in the fridge. So generally still 34 meals. If you do 34 divide by about 6, so it makes about 5 weeks. That's not so bad. It's still good. I'm happy. 5 weeks, 6 weeks worth of food, and the other days we're going to eat out. It's amazing. Anyway, now that I'm talking here and the sound is not there, let me just introduce myself in case you are new here. My name is Susie and welcome to our homestead. I am a working mom of 4 amazing kids and I love to be as involved in my home as I am everywhere else, and to give the best of myself to the people who love me the most and who care the most to me. So, who care the most to me? Who I care the most about? You know, who matter the most to me? You know what I mean. So if this is the kind of content and you like cooking and cleaning and keeping your home organized and budgeting, making stuff from scratch, or if you just like to hang out with people like that, this is a place for you. So please hit the subscribe button. And for my OG guys, I always love to see you here. If you haven't clicked the notification bell, by the way, and you're my subscriber, I still love it so much. Please hit that notification bell so you don't miss any of all this goodness. And give this video a like. I love you. Thank you. So once the meals are covered, I'm going to arrange them in my deep freezer. Normally people ask, where do you put this food? I mean, you must have a really big freezer. I mean, we just have a regular deep freezer. Regularly small deep freezer. It's about 100 liters if I remember. And as you can see, we make sure we empty it completely. Every time we're done with one batch of freezer meals, so that we don't have meals for last month getting forgotten over with the new meals. And then I just arrange them and that's it. Today we are having one of our freezer meals that we just recently made, the beef stew. So the first thing I need to do is to remove it from the freezer so that it can be thawing. Now that that's done, I want to make our accompaniment. Usually we would have this beef with maybe chapati or rice, but today I want to make some milk bread. It's been a minute since we had milk bread in this house. And yeah, and for dessert we're going to have banana muffins because I have a bunch of bananas. That's always why everyone makes everything to do with bananas, because it's normally just having some bananas that are going bad. So let me show you what I need for my milk bread. So we'll start with some wheat flour. And then we are going to also use some butter at room temperature. I have what? Yeast. Then we have some milk, because it's milk bread, otherwise you can just use water, that's fine. And you have sugar, salt, and 2 eggs. Simple, quick, delicious. First things first, we warm the milk to activate our yeast. After warming the milk, I'm going to add the sugar and the yeast and let the yeast proof for a few minutes. By the way, thanks to you guys, yeast is now my BFF because I remember I used to have so many mishaps with yeast and I used to think my yeast was faulty until someone commented and said it was because when I was proofing the yeast, I was not putting sugar, and yeast is a living thing. And, you know, it has a sweet tooth and it needs to eat some sugar to be alive. So thanks to you guys. Now I notice that when I put yeast, it turns out so well. Thank you guys. Don't worry guys about these recipes and the exact measurements, because as I said in last week's video, our website is coming up rapidly. I'm telling you guys, in just a few days it's going to be up. We are busy just uploading all the recipes and measurements. So all you have to do is to click on the link that we are going to put on this video about 10 days from now or 9 days from now, and then all the recipes are going to be there, plus the measurements and everything. Okay, well, I know the dough is supposed to be sticky, but this one is a little bit too runny, but it's okay. I'd rather if it was runny and I add dough than it being too dry. Yes. Then I'm going to add, after kneading it, I'm going to add some butter, softened butter, and knead it into the dough until it's completely mixed in. One thing I love about our air fryer, it is the way it can do like a million things in one. But this is not sponsored. I think this is just one of the best investments I made in my kitchen last year. This ferment function is so good because it helps me to proof my bread. Because I also think that's one area where I was going wrong. I was not proofing at the right temperature. And the one for fermenting is also for making yogurt. So yeah. So I kind of overproofed the dough until it poured, but that's okay.
It smells like a little bit. It is.
You want to smell a bit?
Yeah.
Don't touch, just smell.
Even me.
Are you smelling?
A little bit. Toiletish.
What?
Yeah.
These are 4.16. Yeah, Austrian is very good.
Money.
What?
And sugar. Why the expensive? Okay, what about? No, 1,000 sheep. And you could buy. Oh, I remember those race cars in Kawa. 100 or 200.
200 race cars.
Like to a place. And even the tunnel.
And then? So let's make these banana muffins. I'm telling you guys, I feel like every time I buy bananas, at least 2, 3 or 4% of them are going to go bad if people don't eat them fast enough. And that's how I end up making so many banana flavored stuff, you guys. Let me just be honest, you know. The basic recipe for muffins is always to mix the dry ingredients separately, apart from the sugar. And then you mix the sugar and all the wet ingredients in another bowl. And then once all this is done, you pour the wet ingredients into the dry ingredients. Try not to overmix, and boom, bam, boom, you have your muffin batter ready to bake. Again, this recipe will be on the website, but that's basically the long and short of it. It's really hard to go wrong with muffins. Let me know which is your favorite flavor of muffin to make. So the milk bread has proofed a second time. So the last thing to do is to just do the egg wash, or this time I'm doing a milk wash, and then to bake them. When I compare the time for preparing this milk bread, how long it takes, compared to how long it takes to bake, it's just laughable. I'm telling you, this bread cooks in less than 20 minutes, but the preparation time is like 1.5 hours. But it is so good. I can't wait for you to see. Another thing, another function that comes in handy for the air fryer is the baking function, because that's why I'm baking this 4 small milk breads that couldn't fit in my big pan. Now that the bread is baking, let me reheat my beef. Wow, look at that bread. Oh my goodness, it's come out so nicely. The last thing I'm going to do is to just brush it with some melted butter on top before I remove it from the baking tray, so that it can have a nice soft crust that won't crumble. I don't know if you watched the video I did about salads that keep so well in the fridge. Yes, one of them was this red coleslaw salad. So I love to make it because yes, it keeps well in the fridge, and I can make it once and we eat it for 4 days, and it gets better with time. So that's what we're gonna have with our dinner tonight. Time to serve our meal, and my goodness, these guys are hungry. Can you tell how we love this bread? Oh yes, this meal is slopping. So is making freezer meals something you will consider or that you already do? And if not, why? Let's just discuss down below. By the way, there are no right or wrong answers. But one thing I have to say is, if I had been cooking this meal from scratch after coming from work, let's say, and then I have to make the beef and everything from scratch and the salads and all that, there is no way I would have had time to make this delicious milk bread that has just really, really made our evening. So yeah, I think it makes so much sense for me to make freezer meals. Let me know if this is something you'd like to do. And if you want to see exactly how we made each of these meals, I did that video and I'll link it right here. And I'll see you over there. Bye.